Okay, now I'm looking for my slide. I can share now, so it's good. All right, let me see. Okay, can you all see my slide?
Yep, I can
Yes,
see.
you can.
Okay. Yeah, I just talked to Ken. He said I have 30 minutes, but leave a few minutes discussion. So I realized I will cut the third topic, very short. But that's not critical because I can, share my work and everything else in a different way. I can send you my slides. All right, so my name is Hong Liang. I've been, this year I'm taking on as the president of STLE. So it's a huge learning curve, and but I'm more than halfway through. So it has been a very good experience. So I'm so happy to be here, honored to share, some thought, the update and everything with everybody from Toronto. So I wish I could travel there, but virtual, online, everything is really nice for us to communicate effectively. And yeah, that's my title slide. All right, so today I'm going to talk about basically two topics, and the third one's a little bit short. All right, so so what happened to the headquarters right now? And so this is, let me see, my slide got frozen. All right, so I think since January, everybody has noticed that the ad did retired in January, and then we went through the external search, and then Rebecca was the final sole finalist, and then she take on as an executive director. Immediately she takes things going, so the stability is really good, and so we didn't really see major impact because of the change, and now the headquarters is moving pretty fast. And then also she hired two new, very energetic new members. I think some of you, probably most of you have known Matt Julie and also Rob, so they just come in. And one is the membership manager, one is the professional development. So that's quite energetic and upbeat and keep going. So it's very nicely. And then right now, it's a full-time job. We still have 9, I think. And then the rest of them is like a part-time job. So that's the whole staff, the list of whole staff. If you have any questions and anything, you can contact any of them. And so they're rather close to the Chicago area. And let me see, 1 second. My screen keep jumping. Is it? All right, so the headquarters is close to Chicago, and it's very close to everyone here online. I think I don't know how many of you have visited the headquarters, and they got it recently renovated. And so our society it started with the ISL, right? ASIL, and so founded March 3rd. This month, actually, so probably, let me see. Last week, we had this and 80th anniversary with a name change in between. And so, it's really nice. And there's a lot of history. And if you go to the headquarters, visit the office, you will see quite a lot of things on the wall in a little library there. And so what happened what we do as a STLE, as a society, and right now we have 15,000 professionals, and mainly our area is tribology and education. And then we have 2,500 individuals, almost 200 corporate members, represent 70 countries, and a lot of active volunteers like you guys, and then 20 technical committees and local section. So that's our core structure as a society. And so since I think every few years we have a technical, excuse me, the strategic plan. So the society operated on the plan. So this is published last year. And if it's a free download for everybody, so you can see there are 4 categories. We have been focusing on, will be until next 2 years. Excuse me. And one is professional development, the other one is technology innovation, and then the communication advocacy, and then organizational excellence. And so this is a detail. I'm not going to talk about detail because you can get a file from, download from the web. And so every 2 or 3 years, we're going to start work on the next one, update one. So if anyone has any thoughts, any suggestions, anything, so you can, read and contact with our, everybody on the board and the staff, so we can continue implement for the next strategic plan. And so STLE offers a lot of education courses. I think probably many of you have already known that. Now we have more webinars, and the topic is selected based on the needs and the current challenges. And then there are different ways and short courses and the industry insights. We publish quite a few on the TOT and on the web. And then also a lot of webinars can be downloaded for free for members. And feel free to interrupt you if you have any questions. And also there's a certificate. We actually have quite a lot of certificate in the courses, and then we take the exams through, I think right now online exam is available. And I think the system is still being improved. But there's a 4 certificate is being being offered right now. So probably the online processes still need to be improved a little bit, and actually improved quite a lot, but we are in the process doing that. Yeah. And it's nice to have a certificate, particularly for industrial professionals. And so you have a certificate, then your customer probably have more confidence in your business, I guess, right? So this is important. And also the STLE published quite a few publications, and one that's most popular is the TOT magazine. And this magazine just got an award, a trendy award, I think last month, and it is a very prestige. And so each topic in each month they have a certain type of technical topic, and others general information. And if anyone from your company offer you like get promoted or change a job, and so you can learn about your peers and where they are, how they're doing, things like that. So it's a nice communication tool. So we really, so I think one of the best for the society. And then we have a special topic publications. And this is the trend report published last year. I think it's October, November, we got it released. So in this basically there's 6 topics that I'm going to go through very quickly, and then focus on the sustainability very quickly. So that's we publish this type of the articles or publications very frequently. And if anyone's interested in contribute, and I can contact Rebecca, Rachel, Lynn, I think talk to Rachel in a folder, and she's a chief editor, and she can give you the opportunity and tell you how you can contribute an article or news and things like that. And so the STLE has a lot of activities, and the May is coming up in less than 2 months, 2 months. And hope to see you. It's not too far from Toronto, right? So, so that'd be nice to see you over there. So get networking opportunities, and then catch up with friends and customers. And then recently, last year, we established a new initiatives. Is the scholarship for investment for the future fund. And so this is everyone can donate anything from no matter how small or how big. You can just click or using barcodes to get there and donate something. All the funding will be distributed, given to the student, and we're young professionals. And so that's good for long-term investment. So we're very happy to have this established. And the STLE now is very active for the social media. And so there's a lot of links, and a lot of them I don't use, but I think it's really nice to communicate in being a society, being a community. So these are the tools you can use. So this is about the STLE headquarter report, and that's where we are. And do we have any comments, questions before I move on to the next topic? Okay. All right, so you
may I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Is there any decision or conversation at STLE Chicago that they make like a lower version grade of CLS for technicians and not only for reliability engineers and maintenance, or no?
I don't think I don't think there's anything has been done on that. Maybe just someone still bring it up.
Yeah, because like Noria, they have different levels of certificates for technicians, for engineers, for experts.
Yeah.
CLS is a little bit too tough for the technicians to sit and pass. So
Okay.
just wanted
I
to know if there is any.
Well,
see.
okay,
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
this is
go
Ken
for it.
Brennan again. That's a real problem. Like ICML is taking over. We look at the CSL registrations, there's almost no users there.
Right.
Like STLE, in my opinion, is just going in totally the wrong direction. They're ignoring the end users and asset management.
Okay. That's a very good point. Thank you. I just wrote it down. And yeah, we need to go to the other direction, or so we have talked about the certificate because this is the one of the core problem we have and in the last few years. And so there's no solution yet. So, but now the new executive director, she has a more like she has a lot of skills and different software, different ways to do things quickly and then get things done. So we can probably put this on top agenda against work on it.
Well, we don't want to detract from your presentation now, but if you look at our website, we have for the last 4 years, we've been focusing our talks on energy improvements, efficiency, and just doing things better.
Right, yes, okay.
There's lots of material available.
Right, okay. But now we are coming to the sustainability now, so still energy is very important. Okay, so all right, so thank you. So you can continue to discuss, and you can even you can email me after if we don't have enough time. So I just wrote it down. So that's a very good input. And so I'm going to briefly talk about the trend report. So what we have been thinking, what is currently emerging the challenges and what's happening for the next few years. And so there's we have a committee working on this, and they published last year. So basically they found there's 6 topics, and so one is about supply chain issues, and this is still going on right now. So but could be COVID, could be some other disease and pandemic or something, and or the political or the military or the things like that. So a lot of instabilities, and so then there's related to a lot of things. That's a bigger picture. And then so we talk, then we go, so there's actually when they talk about this, with these a few areas, it could be economic, environment, political, social structure and things like that. This is quite a lot of risky areas, and we just summarize it. You can take a look at the report. And then sustainability, and so there's some 17 goals set by the United Nations. And then so then we look at all those 17, and then their number 6, 7, 9, and 12 apply to tribology. And that is something that means the new opportunities, new challenges for us to consider. And so the sustainability actually is quite important for us. And then so end user sustainability, so this is just to summarize what the report is saying. And so the green steel, there's basically generating the emission of carbon dioxide in the aviation and marine things like that. So there's different areas for us to consider. These are all related to tribology to us. So this is the end user issue. And then there is a option to reduce the carbon footprint. And then in the report, we summarize basically what we can do with the raw materials. And so that's a refined base oil, renewable raw materials, and upcycling, and then the circular process and things like that. So the waste can be done. And then there's upcycling, and also the new-based stock from the waste plastics, and the research have been going on now. So this is the one close to us and something we can do. And then another area that talk about it, but the trend reports manufacturing. So the manufacturing, they're looking at is 7 different type of basically is the additive manufacturing, and or we call it 3D printing, or the hybrid. You have additive manufacturing where you can have other things in it. So those the different type of approaches. And so this is a summary in the report. And then the health medical, there's a issue related to the tribology can help to understand the implant, and we have the implants now getting popular, so they almost it's become a standard medical procedure for people who have an injury, damage to joints and things like that. And but there's a lot. It's still an issue because we want to last longer. It's all this related to the lubricants and tribology contact, things like that. So that's a nice area to study, to focus on, maybe develop a new product. And also because our area, we care about energy, environment, and so there's a lot of regulations going on in the different around the world. And so this the current, we just listed in the report, this is the current existing the regulations. And so US, Europe, and somewhere. So there's still more coming up. The PFAS, the last one listed, that they become the European, I think they will completely ban the use and manufacture of this is the PFAS in the fire chemicals. And so now everybody's eager to find the alternatives. And let me see. So that could be the next focus in the technical areas. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So my screen got frozen. All right. So, and then another part we talk about the electrification. So the E market in introducing the electrical vehicles, and then the market, I think this area is going to continue going to grow no matter what. There's some noise. And okay. All right, something happened. Okay, so can you still hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so yeah, so from the let me see, I have probably a plan to finish in 5 minutes. So from here, I'm going to talk a little bit about the related to the EV, but then before that, we're going to talk about related to the sustainability. So this is the third topic, last half topic I'm going to talk about. So basically, we talk about the sustainability, and then the key reason is the world population has growing dramatically. So this is not linear, right? This is exponential kind of. You see how quickly the population growing, and that means that all these people we all need resources, and the need to live, and the need to live and eat. So use a lot of earth-class material and use a lot of energy, and then we need to do things and move around. And so that's the challenges where, and so then so for future, you see the generations. This is the data I got from the website. Actually, the origin from the census. I think this is from US. And then this is the world population. So you see the young generation, coming up, and then so there's millennials and coming, so things like that. So the distribution is still going, and now people also live longer. So this is how we are distributing, and then so in order to live healthily, the air quality is very important. And so this is something related to tribology. Actually, my student and I, we did a quick review. And so from vehicles and the vehicle emission, not just emission, and then we have a wear of tire and the brakes and the wear, things like that. So a lot of travel waste, and then those particles go everywhere, and to lungs and to the plant, and then eventually we can eat it, and also to the ocean and water and things like that. So we're the tribology thinking we're not just producing the emission, but also there's a waste particles. And so the particle release, we did a quick study, and then there's a lot of organic particles, and then there's some metallic particles, and then there's some minerals, and then also basically on urban areas, we have more busier, the more population is higher. And then so then they have combustion, the tire. So this one just they summarize what the impact the particle will go and how does that affect. And then also sometimes nature has in the challenges in the last year, Toronto has this wild fire. It's a huge fire, and then there's a lot of pollution going on that's further affect our health. And that's probably in nothing, I mean, related to tribologists, but then we're thinking as an engineer scientist and what we can do to help a little bit. So this is something, you know, a lot of challenges. And then so and also the so just stop here. So and also this is a market output. There's one thing the tribology is interesting. We can make vehicles and then the electrical vehicle. So who could be more interested to buy? And then this is relatively 3 years ago, the 2 years ago, and then it shows distribution of different age group. And okay, so but the market, I think in Asia and Europe, probably more people more buy the EV, but then the United States and North America, and I think Canada. And then the one thing I want to mention is this is the data I found out is from Department of Energy. So the emission of the vehicles. So basically, they shows the if we have a vehicle, and then this is shows the carbon dioxide emission, and then there's a battery EV, and then there's a plugged hybrid and also hybrid. You see the from West Virginia to Washington State, and then you have the same type of EV, but you have a different location. You're going to emit a different waste. This is because it's related to the Earth's surface and the road condition, and then the distance and things like that. So when we design the EV and all those things, we're going to consider driving habit, but we haven't really go that far because this is all the passenger cars, not the off-road vehicles. And I think I should stop. I'll pass the slides. I'm going to go to, okay, so this lubricant used all those different EVs. And here we actually publish review. I can send you a paper of that. So the different yellow and orange and different color that shows what the lubricant or some other devices where the system is controlling. And then that gave us an idea. So if the EV use lubricant and the fluid, what does it do? And so basically, the main challenges for electrical vehicle is high acceleration and the electrical insulation, the thermal management. And here, the right figure at the bottom, I want to show you. So that's what we found out, because if you drive the ICE engine generally, so from 0 to 6 miles per hour, so BMW can do 6 seconds, and the EV probably take 2 seconds, right? The regular car probably takes 10 maybe 12 seconds, things like that. So it's really the behavior of the vehicle is different. And then so that high speed in acceleration, that will have a very high demanding the challenges of your fluid and quickly going on, and then reduce the heat and the things like that. So in order to design this fluid, so this is I can go through very quickly. This is because that's the standard properties of a lubricant when you select that. And then for the EV, we have to consider, what is the requirement here. So this is a bearing, and so if you electrified bearing, let's see the y-axis is that the electric conductivity. So that's the lubricant between, or grease and the lubricant between the bearings, and then x-axis is dielectric strength. So we did a quick summary. So here you will see then dielectric strength is different, and then so the electrical conductivity is different, and you're going to generate a different defect. You have force stirring, right, the micro craters and the fluttering, and also treble corrosion on the lower left side of it. But then only one part of the white area is safe. That's when you're going to do. So when you look at the commercial lubricant additives, so generally the impedance is pretty low, and then so the conductivity need to be low impedance and also the balanced conductivity. So from here, you look at the commercial additives like GDTB, MODDT, all those, and so use that to generate treble film. Generally, is not good for the EV because that is going to introduce damage. And I think that due to time, I think I should stop here, and then we can discuss a little bit more. So technical part, I can send you a paper, things like that. I'm going to go to here. So basically, and what we started in Toronto is always beautiful in the blue sky, and we want to keep that way. And then we generate the EV fluid. Basically, we need to understand that. So when we design the EV fluid, and you for example, you fix that in the viscosity. But then you put an EV fluid, because the dynamic condition, the viscosity is going to change. And also the electrical conductivity is going to change. So the room temperature, static, and the physics, they find the electrical conductivity. But when you start to run in the car, then the property is going to change. So that is the what they is going to talk about. But I will stop here because of time. So, okay. So sorry about the rush, but we can start more question and discussion if you have. So thank you. Do I stop sharing now?
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, I because I only have like, I want to stop early. So last topic, I only spent about the 5 minutes or something, but I can send you a paper.
Okay. So I think we have a question. So Jim, do you have a question? You just
I saw a text chat coming. I didn't get a chance to read it.
Okay. There are a couple of items in the chat. Okay, 30 minutes. Okay, there is a question that I'm going to read that. It says, how the transmission fluid is different from EVs with respect to that of conventional IC engine-based transmission systems. And IC, I think, internal combustion engines.
Yeah. The EV, the drivetrain for the EV is like a one big isolated sealed system. And so inside is one fluid. One fluid, you're going to have a lubricant, and you're going to have a, heat removal, and also the electric, because there's a shock, right? So lightning effect. So the charge is going to build up. You're going to, from time to time, you have the escape that is called a straight current. You're going to damage the system because of all metal in there. And then that fluid, and also the gears in a highway low speed, and this is the kind of, you need like high viscosity, but then in other area you need a low viscosity. See, the difference is they're just totally different, and so highly demanding, and you just need that one fluid. You cannot use others because one fluid basically become smarter and more capable or something. So I think that's a major difference from that.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is from Ken Brown. He says, in the chart, what is the entrainment speed?
Okay, that's very good. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you want to show the slide and then explain that, please?
Yeah, so I can go back here. Let me see. Okay, let me find that slide. Let me see the number. Okay, so that's slide 36. Oops, 36.
That's the one.
Yeah, okay. So this is basically the entrainment speed. Basically, you think about you 1 point for example, on the y-axis, point 1 point for ICE, right? So for a certain point, but then for the EV, that point already go further much faster. So this is a kind of a unified speed. So in this case, for example, for the 1 second you start to run in the ICE engine runs probably about, you say, like 20 miles per hour. That means rotating speed. I don't know what is rotating speed, but it's running. And then the EV is already just like electrical motor, right? So as soon as you put the electrical power in, and then they flying. Right. So the entrainment speed is basically the relative. It's not the direct comparison because you really cannot compare directly. But it's because the EV is getting much faster. So we had to put on the same axis, and it just symbolize the difference of that. So what is that? Yeah.
Ken, is it okay to continue, or you have another question?
There's another
yeah, there is a question by James. James is asking if there are commercial EV fluids available as of today, or the development of EV fluids is in the early stage.
And I think the commercial, they are, it's what the manufacturing be doing is they have the commercial fluid that they add something themselves, and so they don't talk about it. And so there's no standard EV fluid right now, but the OEMs have been using something for themselves.
Okay. Okay.
And it's not, I think it's actually, it's have been developed quite recently. There's some breakthrough that I heard is, have been nice. And but depends on the market strategy when they're going to massively sell it, right? So maybe how they marketing that's, that's, probably you probably know more than I do. I don't know what's the best way to sell it, but I know there are some people selling it, but it's not a massive amount. And the most OEM making the flu, using the commercial flu, add something themselves.
Mhm. Okay, the next question is, what are the tribological test rig used for evaluation of EVs?
Okay, so yeah, that's a slide I took it off. So what my lab we did is we use the attachment impedance potential. There's a potential stat and also the impedance measurement. You basically attach a electrical system, and the system can measure the impedance and then can measure the resistance, and then they can also apply certain type of voltage and also the current. You use that system to, the key part is the film thickness. So fluid film thickness is going to change. You need to monitor that as well. But you can do that through impedance measurement. So that is right now the most efficient way and most accurate way to monitor this behavior.
Okay. Okay, so I don't have any other questions.
There's
There's
another
one
one
more.
coming in.
Sorry, there is one coming, says, how did they calculate CO emissions for EV? Was it from the manufacturer? And if so, why hire in West Virginia?
Oh, that's okay. So that's very good. That's from the engine test lab. And so that's a DOE, Department of Energy, the data. So they have a different labs and collecting the data. We have a colleague here. He has the engine test lab, but also they drive around in the West Virginia and then the Washington State to collect the data like that.
Do you want to show this slide, or you think it's not necessary?
Yeah, I don't have a detailed slide. That's the summary slide I have. That's the only slide I have.
West Virginia electricity is mainly from coal, so it's not a surprise.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
So, but that's a misrepresentation, quite honestly.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have any other questions in the chat. Anybody has any question in the room? So you can unmute and ask. Okay, so Ken, do you want to mention something, or Kelly, do you want to mention something before we wrap up the session?
Khalid there. Sorry, I joined late. I had a doctor appointment, but I really like to thanks Liang, Professor Liang, to arrange this presentation for us and from our busy schedule. The only question I have for Liang is, and it's good that we're all Canadian people here, and she's from States, that any plan for STLE meeting in Toronto or in Calgary? It has been a while, right?
We should. I think I saw the list from Rebecca, the new executive director. The Toronto is not on list, but we need to add it. Right now, it's in the discussions. Right now is a good time to add. Yeah, we should.
Because they had a successful one in Calgary, and I think they lost some money in Toronto one, and it's all depend, the logistic and how people arrange it, right, back then. So we have a lot.
They didn't lose money in Toronto.
This is what they told me. This is what they told me, the STLE. But anyway, it's Calgary one was very successful.
Some of the manufacturers couldn't figure out how to get across the border, and that's their problem. They were just being idiots, quite honestly.
I see.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons.
If you want to be an international society, you got to be able to figure out how to get across borders. Like, Jesus.
Exactly, I agree. So yeah, I'll bring this up in the next EC meeting, and then let's continue to discuss. You guys need to make a noise. Keep mentioning it.
Yes, yes. The
Okay,
problem
and
is,
if it is added, when we should expect to be in Toronto? If we add it this year, what's that, for 5
think
years from
probably
now?
actually down the road, I think let me see, probably 4 or 5 years down the road.
Or 4 or
yeah,
5 years from now, yeah.
Yeah, because next 2 years is already decided, right? So
yes, yes.
and,
They,
because hotel now they ask you like several years ahead to make the
yes,
determination to reserve. That's the key part of it.
yes, yeah. So at least they put an agenda before I retire. At least I can have one here.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to retire too, you know, so I'm going to back you up.
The other thing is, the other question I have is sustainability. What STLE is doing it for their own organization, sustainability? What are the plans? If we can share with our Torontonian ears.
Yeah, so right now the first part is that there's a committee. I don't know if you're on the committee or not. So they form a relatively large committee. The volunteers they can focus on particular area, topic, technical area. I think Neil Cantor is leading on this one. He's recruiting the members. And then from that, they're probably going to write a certain type of report. And then this May at the annual meeting, there's a panel talking about the PFAS, you know, the forever
Yeah,
chemical. Yeah,
yeah,
so that will be talked about. And so that's the first plan. And then there's a webinar, right? So the podcast, and he's interviewing a few. And so that's the immediate plan. And long-term plan, and we'll see. We'll probably in the next year definitely we'll have we'll have probably more like technical sections and for people to talk about, because the research come a little later once you bring the message in, and I'm going to have a started researcher coming in to talk about those things.
right. Thanks.
Maybe want to do one of my other pet peeve too is why can't STLE give continuing education course credits for their courses and attending the annual meeting? Almost everybody else does, and it's a requirement in Ontario for engineers in Quebec to have so many hours of training. So they don't go to STLE because they don't get hours.
Oh, I see. I don't know that. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, yes. We discussed with the during our board meetings, and at least
Stop
I was
discussing
told.
it. They've been discussing it for 15 years.
I
Just
I
do
w-
it.
I was told by STLE staff that there's a issue with them, recognizing, because there's a lot of work involved, and
Other organizations have figured out we got 5 times the staff we used to have, and they can't figure out how to do that. Well, time to hire some smart people.
I agree.
It's something that Toronto STLE chapter can help, working with PEO locally,
yes,
or no?
yes, that's correct. We need to have a bridge between the PO and the STLE organization. That is a good point. Can you raise, and Liang, I think probably you noted down
absolutely.
somewhere. We can discuss them further on. It's a big issue. We can attract crowd if it happens, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, the new hire Bob, right? That's he under his the umbrella. So let's do that, and we bring this up. We need to make some changes now because we've been talking about it for years. So that's an excellent point.
Okay. So I don't have any other questions in the chat. If there is any question in the room, please unmute and ask questions. Otherwise, I will leave the last word to Dr. Liang to talk about it if you wish, the last word of the session.
Yeah. Okay. So I think let me see. I think that I apologize for I didn't really, because the last 10 minutes before, when I asked, that's, so I thought it was 40 minutes, but actually I need to talk 30 minutes and leave 5 minutes. So that's why I kind of cut all the slides out. But I'm going to send the slide to you, and then I can send the paper we published. You can read about it.
Perfect. Thank you. So on behalf of STLE Toronto section, I will thank you for your time and for the great presentation that you did. And it would be the conclusion of this meeting. Thank you, and thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
It's a nice meeting. I hope to see you in person in May.